right, folks. Well, you know you're in for a treat when you hear that tune, because it's time for another week of the RecPoker podcast. This is the Chats edition, but we also have a Forums edition every week, just talking strategy. Now, I'm your host, Jim Reid, Bluffsterini in the home game, and at RecPoker Jim on the hellscape that we call Twitter. And I have the best freaking job in the world, talking poker with my friends here on the podcast every Monday night at 7:30 Eastern, live on YouTube. You can join us for free every week, and you can win a prize just for showing up. Now, we're going to be talking to Matt Affleck in just a moment, but first I have to mention that we're brought to you by Running Aces, the official sponsor of the RecPoker podcast. Most of what we do here is free. We're a largely volunteer-based organization, so we really depend on support from our sponsors and also from our premium members who take part in our training material and study opportunities for only $22 a month. And it really makes a big difference for us. Every premium member that joins is a big deal. And I just love being able to share our love of poker with so many fantastic supporters. So you can join for free, of course. Please get involved at RecPoker. All it takes to get a free community account is an email address and a smile, although we do insist on both. But you can get your first month of premium membership for only $5 by using the code RecPoker at checkout. So I encourage you to do that. And I'll also just remind you that if $5 sounds like a lot of money, I fully get that. Everyone here wants RecPoker to be accessible to everyone, so we will always credit you a free month of premium membership if you just make a donation to a local food bank in your area for any amount, and just send us the receipt, and we'll make sure that you get credited with a free month. So thanks for your support at RecPoker, and thanks for supporting a local food bank as well. Now, they let me host the show on Mondays, but I'm only one man. It takes a group, a gang, a crew to make all the magic happen around here. We call this group of wizards the Wrecking Crew, and if you want to learn more about me or the rest of the Wrecking Crew, just go to rec.poker/crew, or you can listen up, because you're going to meet a few of them right here tonight on the show, starting with producing co-host Chris Jones.
Well, I'm Chris Jones. You can find me 5B5 on Twitter or 5x5 in the PokerStars home game.
And I'm Joe Coolis. You can find me at Joe Cool PhD, cool with a K, on Twitter, or Elvita11 in the home game. And I serve as the maven of all things psychological at RecPoker. And every third Thursday of the month, we try to have some discussions about different ways that your brain processes information and how that may help you on the poker felt.
And Chris Jones also runs our deep dive strategy segment every month. He's a big mover and shaker. And basically, if it comes down to membership, content, and strategy, he's the guy to talk to around here. And he also produces the show. How about that? So we actually had very exciting news. So a lot of you already know who Matt Affleck is. He's a fantastic player and coach. He's one of the top coaches at pokercoaching.com. He's been on the show a few times. He's a friend of the show, great guy. And he wants to get more involved. He's been getting more and more excited about RecPoker and the great work we do. So he's joining the Wrecking Crew. Pretty soon you're going to have Matt Affleck's smiling face up on that Meet the Crew page that hopefully some of you just went and checked out. Matt's got some great ideas for how he can start bringing some of his knowledge and wisdom and experience as a player and coach to our membership at RecPoker. It's all actually kicking off in the month of February. If you're listening to this, the day it comes out, that's a Friday. The very next week, on Wednesday, October 9th, our premium members will be able to join us for Matt's first webinar at RecPoker. That's going to be at 6:30 Eastern, so 3:30 Pacific. That might be tough for some of our West Coasters to check out live, but of course we will be saving the recording of that as well, so you can always watch the video afterwards. And then we have another one of Matt's webinars this month on Wednesday, October 23rd at 7:30 Eastern, so just an hour later in our usual kind of 7:30 slot. And I am really excited to be working with Matt on all sorts of cool stuff. He's got such a great poker mind. He's an excellent coach and a really fun guy as well. I'm also doing a cool coaching project with Matt that I guess I'll just spill here without him because he's not going to be live for the show. But Matt is actually taking me under his wing for the next 10 or 12 weeks, and I'll be getting some coaching from him directly, leading up to what I hope is a very fun and exciting trip to Las Vegas and the fantastic, beautiful Wynn Casino for the World Poker Tour Series, which will be running there in December later this year. I went down last December, had a fantastic time, played in the Prime and a bunch of other events. December is a much nicer time to be in Las Vegas than June and July. I'm sure no one will disagree with that. But yeah, I'm going to try and take a shot at some of the bigger events there, I think, for this series. And I'm really excited to be working with Matt. And we're going to be sharing a lot of that coaching program with our members as well. Some of that will be available via video, and some of that will be actually streamed live on several platforms. So stay tuned, folks. Over the next few months, we'll be releasing some details over the next few weeks. Make sure you're signed up for the RecPoker newsletter. Stay actively involved with our social media handles. Well, that's where we'll be putting out a lot of the details about this to come. But do check it out. It won't be just for RecPoker Premium members either. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff to share with everyone here at RecPoker Nation. So,
and I just add one quick thing to this? Everyone mark these dates on your calendar, because like he is an elite poker mind, but not just as a skill, I think as a teacher too. He's just like got such a knack. His content is so good. And if you're like a player who wants to get better and wants to learn aspects of the game, we're so lucky to have somebody like that kind of working with us and helping. He's the perfect fit for recreational players that want to get better. So I just really encourage you to like mark these on your calendar, tune in for these coaching sessions, come to the sessions he's giving, because this is a phenomenal resource, and he's one of those bright lights in the poker world that I think we all should be paying some attention to.
I just want to follow up too. What Chris is saying is that one of the reasons I'm here today is because I've been interested in some of the discussions we've had in previous conversations with him about how he approaches teaching and he thinks about it. And for me, as somebody who has students who you have to think about, well, how am I going to approach this individual? How am I going to make this particular concept accessible to an individual? You can't just throw one thing at the wall and make it stick. You have to bring it into a manner in which they can accept it. He does a good job of that. I've been impressed with the way he's talked about his coaching approach.
Great. And we've already got some comments in the YouTube chat. One from Hubert saying he does have his way to connect the concepts. Mike Day saying, ask Matt about what he does to prepare himself the day of a big MTT. So I will make a note to do that. And I thought I saw another. Oh, yeah. Evil Roy Slade saying he's not going to miss it. That sounds like good content. So, yeah, I'm really, really excited for that and to be able to work with Matt and to bring him into to the RecPoker Crew and to share all that greatness with our members. All right. So I'll just say again, so that the RecPoker webinars he's going to be doing October 9th at 6:30 Eastern and October 23rd at 7:30 Eastern. And I'm really looking forward to that. I think you guys should tune in. And again, if you're listening to this and you're not a RecPoker Premium member, drop $5 in the month of October. Give us a try. Give our premium membership a try for $5 by using the code RecPoker at checkout. And you will get a chance to watch both these webinars with Matt. Get involved in all of our interactive Zoom study sessions. Watch all our training videos. For $5. You're going to have a great month. I hope you don't have too much on the go. But seriously, it's a good month to try us out for $5 and see all the cool stuff we have going. All right. Well, then.
And as Jim said before, $5 to the food bank. And you get to give some food and we'll help you out. You can try us out and see if maybe you can, I don't want to say kill two birds with one stone because we don't want to kill anybody, but really move forward on a couple of different fronts.
Yeah, that's a great point. And like, if you're considering giving us your first $5 to give us a try, like Joe says, nothing would make us happier than for you to slide that $5 bill over to a local food bank to help support their fight against food insecurity, and just let us know and we'll take care of you there. Chris, you got a smile on your face. What are you scheming?
Oh, I heard like the new thing we're supposed to be saying is feed two birds with one scone.
I like that. Feed two birds with one scone. Okay. Yeah. With your British heritage, that doesn't surprise me that you're at the tip of the spear when it comes to scone-based aphorisms.
Right.
Am I even... Yeah. Okay. All right. We're pulling up. Let's get out of here, gang. Let's have a fantastic interview with Matt Affleck and see you on the other side. All right, folks. I'm joined with the one and only Matt Affleck, as promised. I'm excited. we've got some great news to share. So first of all, Matt, thanks for coming back to the RecPoker podcast. I always love talking with you.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be back on.
Yeah. So we've got some exciting news to share. So Matt is officially joining the RECing Crew. He's going to be providing some of his awesome insights and coaching experience with our members over the next little while. And Matt, I'm most excited about this. You and I are also doing our own kind of little coaching project leading up to the WPT series in December at the Wynn. So I guess let me ask you this. So what did I do right that made you say, you know what, I like this Jim guy. I'm going to give him some coaching and try and see if we can turn him into a real poker player? How'd that happen?
Well, you're Canadian, so you're very nice. That's a good starter. There's no Canadian that's not nice. So that was number one. Like, obviously, no. So we talked and we met in December at the last year at the WPT, and then you had the deep run. We both went kind of deep in the main event this year, and so we were talking, and just over some drinks after the main event, just talking. You kind of pointed out, like, not that. Was it the first time you played the main event, or you played it before? I can't remember.
I played it once before. Yeah, once before.
Once before, and so, but just like seeing, like, kind of like the excitement in your eyes, like it's kind of like that's the one thing of like being a professional that gets a little like seeing how happy and like giddy you were on breaks. Like I don't get like that playing poker anymore, which is like a little sad.
Sure.
When you do it for 20 years for a living, you kind of get numb to that stuff. You learn, unfortunately, to get numb to that stuff a little bit. But talking to you afterwards and stuff was just like how awesome, how your experience and how great your experience was and stuff. And I was like, well, there's another big tournament in December. Like, why not do it again? And you were like, yeah, it's stuff. Was like, well, what if we did something where like we, do coaching up there for like 3 months leading up, and we just do this again with the WPT 10K. And so we kind of talked, and then August is kind of a slow month for everyone in poker. Like I took some time off, and now we're officially starting that, and so we have like 10 weeks or something until the 10K. And so like the idea is like we'll do 10 to 15 hours of coaching over the next 10 to 12 weeks, 10 weeks before the WPT 10K. And we'll end it with Jim playing the 10K at the Wynn. And so the goal is let's see if we can have another magical run again.
Wouldn't that be something, man? I love it. I'm so excited at this idea. And yeah, like you said it, dude. I don't get to play a lot of 10Ks. Let me put it that way. I'm very much still in the recreational player pool here. And I'm going to try and sell some action. Hopefully, if folks want to come along for the ride, they can get involved and take a piece of that. Because I'm definitely not playing any 10Ks on my own time. But I'm really excited at the opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to the structure that we've set up here. So we're recording this interview just after we actually recorded the podcast intro. So I want to just correct a couple dates that you're going to hear in the show. So the first session, and we're going to meet on Wednesday, October 9th at 3 o'clock. We had said at 3:30 in the intro, but it's actually going to be at 3 o'clock. And this will be the first sort of like webinar coaching opportunity that RecPoker members are going to be able to come in and join. So if you're a RecPoker premium member, just go to the website calendar on Wednesday, October 9th at 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock Pacific. That's 6 o'clock Eastern. You'll be able to join our coaching session. So you'll be able to get an unfiltered look into all the leaks in my game and all the ways that Matt has. I mean, Matt's so good with Poker Tracker 4. He's got all these fantastic filters set up and reports, and he knows exactly where to find those kind of weak spots that recreational players like me have trouble with. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's on Wednesday the 9th, again, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. And then we're going to start taking turns. The week after that, we're going to be sharing the same, week 2 or week 3 of the coaching session with pokercoaching.com members in your webinar there. And then the next week, coming back on the 23rd, we're actually going to get together at from 5:30 to 6:30 Pacific, which is 8:30 to 9:30 Eastern. So I know we have some other Rec Poker Premium events happening on those days. So sometimes Matt's coaching session will be before them, and sometimes it'll be after them. But you can just look into the calendar ahead if you're a Rec Poker member, and you'll see on these Wednesdays coming up, you'll get a chance to join some of these sessions. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. And I'll spill a little bit of the tea. You and I did get together once already. You were able to take a look at the last 60,000 hands in my database already. And Rec Poker members might be surprised to hear that my biggest problem apparently is that I'm a big nit. I don't play enough hands in late. I'm just over folding all the time. I don't play enough hands from late position. I don't play enough hands from the small blind, and that made me chuckle when I saw that, because I don't have the nit reputation with a lot of the folks here. So it just goes to show my image play is working perfectly. Bluffsterini as the as the screen name. That carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited. I guess. So you took a look at my database on the first. What were there any like surprises? Were there any like unusually bad gaps? Is it all just kind of standard stuff that newer players bring?
I would say the standard. It was pretty standard in terms of a lot of leaks that I find in people where they're too tight pre-flop, just not playing enough hands, and then they fold too much in every spot post-flop, and that was kind of like the common theme, where we're just folding too much to flop bets, folding too much to turn bets, folding too much to bets. Pretty much like we just run a filter for any time you faced a bet and fold it, and just ignore the times you called, because if you called, this probably was a call. And it was more so just anytime you're facing a bet, you're just folding too much. And then in terms of like pre-flop, kind of the same thing, where like you're folding too much in terms of spots where you can VPIP in some form or another. So like the good thing is like the mistakes are pretty common in terms of like now, like the easy adjustment before you even do anything now, I would just tell you anything that you think is close is not close probably. And you should probably take the aggressive. If you think it's close between a fold and a call, it's probably a call. If you think it's close between a fold and a raise pre-flop, it's probably a raise. You think it's, in all those instances, and that's kind of what's nice. Like when you start to learn what your leaks are, you are more aware of them. And now it's like easy to like the easy thing I just say is just like, without even coaching you on any spot, like if you think it's close, probably take the more aggressive action that puts more chips in the pot.
Yeah. I like that.
And that would probably benefit you right away if that was like the only piece of advice that I gave you.
All right. I love that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, we're trying, it's gonna be on like, both platforms here, like Rec Poker and Poker Coaching. And the idea here is just kind of like give the people a look into like what coaching looks like, and kind of like the framework that I use for coaching, that type of stuff. So it's going to be mostly public. I think most of the sessions will be public. I'm not going to guarantee all of them are, just depending on timing and all that stuff. But I think a lot of them for sure will be public. And then, the end goal being, selling action. I think that's going to be like a cool part of it, because it's like people can kind of see the coaching lead up, and then hopefully that's like a sign on me, like how quickly you sell out of action is really like the grade on how I do on coaching. Because I guess if you don't sell out very quick, that means I did a pretty bad job.
So people aren't encouraged by the progress.
They have good recency bias over the main event. So you obviously did very well in the main event, and that would be the goal. And then obviously, like, I mean, I'm not affiliated with Win or whatever. It was just like a fun tournament series. Like, we met at the player party there. The player party is great, and like getting you out for all that stuff again and everything will be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. And I've never done anything like this, like on like kind of the public setting. So it's kind of new for me. Obviously it's new for you in the terms of like in this format as well, I think. So it should be good. There'll probably be, kinks and bumps in terms of that stuff, but like, I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm good at what I do. I know that. And so I can guarantee you for sure, by the time that tournament comes around, you're going to think about poker completely different in a good way. And what I focus on is really like how to think about situations and how to develop strategies in game very quickly, and using kind of basically like taking whatever theory, solvers, all that stuff, whatever, and just what is this saying right here? And like, how do you want to think about it? And then like, as you get more comfortable with that, like in game, you become a lot more comfortable just kind of creating your own strategy. How do I want to play this spot?
Well, that's very exciting to me because I feel like in a lot of ways, I haven't had a lot of structured poker training myself. I'm mostly self-taught. I, grew up playing poker badly and tried to get better myself, listening to podcasts, watching videos, doing a lot of pen and paper kind of math work. But I haven't really had a structured environment for learning. And so I think I have a bunch of bad assumptions that are getting in my way. I think I've overcorrected in too many ways that are, stopping me from being successful. And I think the one thing for me that I'm really looking forward to, like you talk about changing the way that I think about poker, I think that like I desperately need that. I think especially when it comes to things like visualizing and we'll get into sort of the nuts and bolts of it, but I'll tell our listeners here as well, like one of the areas of weakness for me, I think, is just sort of visualizing how my entire range is supposed to act in certain ways, in certain spots. And so that's part of why I think I'm overfolding in some of these spots, because I'm not seeing all the combos that are supposed to be in each bucket, the calls, the raises,
Sure.
the folds. And I do struggle with, defending frequently enough, especially against small sizes, because you need to do it with such a wide part of your range that it's not like a natural, you feel like you have so little equity, you mustn't continue in the hand. But when the bet size is as small as it is, you're kind of, you're folding away equity in the hand, I guess, at that point.
Yeah. And so I think the word I like to use a lot is like frameworks. And I want you to like frameworks of like how things work and structuring your thought processes better is like the biggest value I can provide. And it's like, whenever I'm doing a coaching session, I ask a student, like, how do you think about this spot? And they'll kind of go on this like 30, 40-second, ramble. And they'll say a bunch of stuff that is true, but it's all kind of scatterbrained. Versus I'm like, all right, listen to how you just said all this stuff. And then I want you to listen to me, how I think about this spot. And it will be like, I say 2 or 3 sentences that takes about 3 seconds or 4 seconds. And I'm like, all right, because of that, I bet, or because of that, I check. And so it's like a very concise framework of getting to what is like a very sound, like makes sense strategy. And so that's like where I provide like the 2 things I think I provide the most value are like, one is like frameworks and how to just think about spots more efficiently. And then the second thing would be like identifying things that you don't know you're making mistakes on.
Yeah.
Like that's the big thing. Like identifying spots that you don't even know. So a lot of the coaching stuff we're going to do over the 10 weeks, I already know what it's going to be. And it's like very specific spots that come up a lot that I know a lot of people screw up. And it's going to be like going through those a lot. And because like knowing what matters. And it's like, we're not really going to look at any river check raise spots. We're not going to really be looking at any like turn check raise spots. We're not really like looking at, I care about like C betting. I care about raising pre-flop. I care about like calling versus C bets on the flop, calling versus C bets on the turn, like correctly, like very high frequency spots. That's what I care about. And if you can like learn to be proficient in those like high frequency spots, like you're going to have like a pretty solid overall strategy that's better than like 90% of players.
Yeah, I really like the way that you approached when we did the database review. Your filters are looking for missed opportunities. And so like if I was to send you a bunch of hands that I had problems with, it would be hands that I VPIP'd and then, felt uncomfortable at some point in the hand. But I would never even be able to send you the gaps where I'm not VPIPing enough, like where I'm missing opportunities.
I've never been sent a hand where they get dealt queen 9 off in the cutoff, and should I raise or fold this hand?
Right.
Like, that's kind of we talked about like raise first in type of stuff next week. I'm like, you need to be playing this hand as a raise.
Yeah.
Talking about that. You mentioned, I just had something funny that I was going to say, and I can't remember now when you were talking.
Oh no.
So we can pass.
Well, luckily you're gonna. This isn't our members' last opportunity.
I remember now.
Oh yeah, jump in.
So it's these filters that I have, and fortunate or unfortunate for Jim, and this will be like kind of my filters are set up to look for mistakes. And so it's going to look like while we're doing coaching and doing this on a public scale, which I haven't done before, it will look like Jim is worse than he is just because I'm going to filter for mistakes. Like I have these filters that are set up for only mistakes. So it looks like, oh my God, every hand is a mistake. Well, it's like the filter is set up to identify and only pop up probable mistakes. And I don't care what Jim did 6 months ago in a hand. I want to know, like, how do you think about that? And we go through them like, I don't care what you did in this hand. How do you think about this now? So that's kind of a fun part of this, where it's with the filters and stuff set up. Like for example, next week I already know what we're talking about. It's a specific filter set up, and it will all be like spots where he should have bet and he checked. Yep. That's what the filter is set up. It's set up for. I've identified a specific board texture and situation where he should have bet and he checked, and so every hand is going to be a check. In the filter, like we already know what he did.
We know hand, it's each one's going to be a mistake.
We now it's all about going through and like, all right, how should we be thinking about this to like, and it becomes when you see the same spot over and over again, you correct it very, very, very quickly. That's the whole purpose of this. Is like, it becomes very easy. Like after 3 or 4 hands, you're like, oh wait, I know what's going on now. Like, and then it's like, all right, cool, next spot. Let's move on to the next one.
Well, thank you for saying that, Matt, because I am, luckily I've never represented myself as a particularly good poker player. So there's not much of a coming to earth with this. But I am I am like a little anxious. I'm a little nervous just to see like all my biggest poker errors broadcast to the world. But hey, we talk all the time on the show about if you want to get better, you got to share your weaknesses. You got to share the areas where you're unsure. That's why we always talk about like posting in the forums, posting on our Discord. Do it in the areas where you look like a goof, where you've screwed up. Like that's how we're going to learn by tackling our weaknesses and our mistakes head on. So I'm coming into it with hopefully a good attitude, and I know I've got a lot of room to improve. So I just want to say thanks for putting this whole thing together. And
I'm excited for it. Like just talking about here gets me excited for it. Like for me, we've talked. I'm not a logistics person. I'm more like I just want to get into like the meats and potatoes stuff. And so planning for this has been more the logistical side, which is why it's been a little bit slower started than we wanted because I don't like doing the logistical stuff. But now we're like we have dates set up, and all I have to do is show up and coach. Like that's what I'm excited for, and I'm ready to do. And I think I'm excited for like December to like get you in there and
Yeah, me too. Okay, so last question. Perfect segue. This is from premium member Mike Day, and it's information that I'm going to need in December when it's time for this big tournament, which I still can't really believe is happening, but I believe it's happening. It's totally going to happen. This is so cool. So Mike wanted to know when you are, because you're mostly an online player, but I know you play a lot of live events too when it's a juicy spot. What do you do the morning of a live MTT to prepare? What's different if there's like a big tournament that day that you're going to play live? What do you do differently than on any other days?
So typically like an online day for me doesn't start until like 3 p.m. or something. So there's a lot more time. I'm like a morning person. I'm typically up at like 7 or 8 a.m. But so an online day starts later in the day. A live tournament starts at 11 or 12, but like the process is kind of the same. So for like a live tournament, let's say it starts at 11. I'm not the type that can wake up at 10:30, roll out of bed, take a shower, and then roll down. I need to like warm up my brain. So I look at warming up for a poker tournament the same as like an athlete warms up for like, let's talk about like a basketball, like NBA. They do layup drills, right? Why are they doing layup drills? Like it's a fundamental. They're working on fundamentals. Okay. So you don't want to learn anything new. You maybe like the most like intense type of work I would do would review a specific spot that you're studying or working on. So for example, what I would want Jim to do before his sessions online is maybe review a few hands from our previous session that we worked on, or a drill that we've worked on in the previous session. But honestly, like a lot of my work is just like, I'll do some pre-flop drilling. Like I'll do some like big blind versus button hands like through the trainer. Like I'll play some as the big blind, I'll play some as the button. If it's like a day 2 or day 3, maybe I'll review some ICM pre-flop type of stuff. But in general, like I just want to like get my brain firing. So like typically if I start online at 3, like I do my studying for like an hour or two, like my actual like proving my game. I've already done that by like 10 or 11 in the morning. And then I get stuff done. And then if I'm going to start playing at 3, maybe at 2:30, I'm kind of at the computer and doing like 30 minutes of like warm up type of work. So like on a 11 a.m. day for a live tournament, maybe the deep studying gets cut out or cut down to like maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes because I don't have that like 2-hour times. And then like I have some time where maybe it's like I go to the gym or go get breakfast or do whatever. And then I'm assuming like I'm traveling and I'm staying at a hotel or something. And then like 30 minutes beforehand, I'm doing that same, like just some pre-flop drill work. I'm doing some, maybe review a couple hands from an online session or drill just like a specific spot I'm working on, or I'll drill some hands just like button versus big blind. Like I call the button versus big blind, which is like, for me, it's like the cookie cutter. It's like the most important spot. It's just like, that's where all the work is. And so I'll just play some hands through there. And all I'm trying to do is get my brain thinking poker. That's all I'm trying to do, is just get my brain warmed up, just like an NBA player. Like they're doing layup drills, they, shoot free throws, they do some jump shots. They're not doing anything intense. They're just getting their body warmed up. And as a poker player, it's more you want to get your brain warmed up. I used to do, I don't do it anymore, but I used to do what I think it's called like Luminosity. It's a website that does like brain games. Yep. And there'd be like the memory match the card games. There'd be like a game where you have a card, you have to move around all the different like obstacles on the road and stuff. And so like that type of stuff was kind of good for online because it got like hand-eye coordination, like kind of like speed stuff just for when I'm playing multiple tables. I found that useful just to get the brain activated. Like that's all really I'm trying to do.
So it sounds like one of the common threads there is you're not trying to like learn anything new. You're just trying to like get the brain working in the right way. You want to just sort of like get it loose and limber and sort of
and then I'll also do like goals for the session where it's like I split those up into like I'll have technical goals and I will have like mental goals. So technical goal might be, for example, for you, we worked on it'd be like make sure raising enough hands pre-flop. I want to be more aggressive pre-flop in spots, or I want to make sure anytime I face a small like third pot bet or quarter pot bet, I'm taking an extra 2 to 3 seconds being like, okay, is this a hand I really want to fold? Because majority of my answer here is call or raise.
Right.
Like they bet 33%, like I'm defending 75% and folding 25. So if I'm just throwing a dart, the answer is not fold. If you can't see your cards, you're better off saying an answer other than fold. Like, so like that would be like a technical goal for you just to be, and you just bringing it to the forefront. And then like a mental goal might be like for online, I might be like, all right, I'm going to manage my table count better, or I'm going to manage like tournament selection better, or I want to check in every 2 hours with these specific questions. Like, how am I feeling? How am I talking to myself? How am I, what's my focus level at? Like bringing these things to the forefront. That would be, and so I do split out the goals into like technical and whatever you want to call it, like mental goals or like tactical goals, not strategic goals.
Yeah, cool. Well, this has been great. So I know you got a lot going on today. Thank you so much for making this time today, Matt, and also over the course of the next couple months. I'm so excited for this. This is going to be super fun. So I hope folks join us on Wednesday, October 9th at 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. If you're a RecPoker Premium member, go check that out in the website. And if you're not yet a RecPoker Premium member, pretty good month to get your first month for only $5 by using the code RecPoker at checkout. So go give us a try. And of course, head on over to pokercoaching.com and you can work directly with Matt in his own coaching program, but they also have just a ton of fantastic material there for their premium members as well. Matt, anything else you want to leave with our members, or should we just wrap this puppy up?
Nope. I think we covered a lot of stuff. So I'm excited and ready to get started next week.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thanks again. All right. Well, we're back. Another great interview with another fantastic guest. I enjoy these interviews that we haven't done yet. Maybe more than any interviews that I've actually done. There's so much available. Like the ceiling's so high on these interviews. It's amazing. Like I really liked his response to Mike Day asking about what he does to prepare himself on the day of a big MTT. So now I really hope that I remember to ask him that question.
Oh, you bet. You put the pressure on.
Super awkward for Mike and I if I don't. All right. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Matt Affleck. Again, October 9th, 6:30 Eastern. October 23rd, 7:30 Eastern. Come and check out those fantastic sessions and get more involved here. All right. Folks are no doubt typing the words food bank into the YouTube chat because we're going to give away a prize in just a moment. First, John Somsky's a little under the weather today, so I'm going to roll through our home game winners recently, and then we'll wrap this puppy up and mosey on out of here. So on September 23rd, the one and only Eric Romo, you know him better as GF Hawk, longtime member here at RecPoker, won the nightly event, and it's his first of this year. Okay, I'm going to wait for John to get back so he can decipher how many he's won in each year or month or whatever.
I'd like to hear you just struggle with this.
Oh God, yeah, no, it's his first nightly event win of this year, and he has 28 in total. So I think congratulations, Eric Romo. On the 24th, Aces 54320. That's Kathy Chang. Won the nightly tournament. That's her fifth total this year of 28 lifetime. That's what this means. Is that what this means? Yeah, that's no. We're waiting for John. I'll say who the winners are, but this is going to be really painfully awkward if I try and decipher the rest of this. Bruce Kiefer, congratulations. Bruce K54 was the winner on the 25th. On September 26th, oh my God, Kathy Chang is back. Aces 54320. And then on the 27th, another Kathy Chang sighting. That's 3 victories in a week, and those are all nightly events. So congratulations to Kathy. Good Lord, that's impressive. That might be the first triple win in a week. I don't know. We'll get the historians on this, but that's very close.
That's pretty amazing. That's very impressive.
On the 28th, none other than George Borden, you know him as Larson's Opening, claimed the crown of the nightly event. And we had only one mixed event this week, or it was the mixed practice game on September 25th. Stuart Carriage, Stewie 13, took that one home to bring him to 48 lifetime RecPoker home game wins. Very impressive, really knocking on that door of the 50 lifetime achievement. Rick the Good Dog, you'll love to see that. His name's private, so I won't dox him, but his name's Rick. He's a friendly guy, and he lives in the beautiful state of Minnesota. He picked up the
What's his address?
Yeah. What's his home security system alarm code? No, you'll have to talk to Rick the Good Dog to find that out. But I believe he's also Rick the Good Dog on Twitter, and I'd encourage you to follow him there. He's a fun character there as well. That was international morning event. The international afternoon event winner was Killy19341, Rich Deacons. Congratulations, Rich. You keep up your he's been one of the regulars in Rob's book study, so it's nice to see that showing up, paying off. And then Roadstar 33 won the Learn Pro Poker Sunday event, so he can email info@rec.poker to claim your prize. It's Randy. His name is Randy. I'm going to dox him. Randy, congratulations on another great win. And email info@rec.poker and to claim your prize. You've won a free month at Learn Pro Poker, one of our fantastic training partners here. And we are also going to give a free month of access to either RecPoker or one of our other amazing training partners as part of our prize giveaway here. So unless there's anything else to cover, Chris and Joe, would you like to shout something out?
Were we doing a stake study stack?
Oh yeah, that's right. We're doing a stake study stack. This was suggested by Mike Day in the audience. I love this audience participation. It's great when we get our YouTube chatters involved. We're going to do, just because we couldn't get Matt on the show live, we're going to do a sort of like substitute stake study stack. Chris, why don't you take it away
Yeah, and Matt's already done it, so we're gonna ask our own Joe Cool, PhD.
That's it.
And Joe, I'm gonna give you three names. And I have chosen three, and I've just pulled up a website, some names I didn't even know. You probably do, but I will give you some reference if you don't. Three famous psychologists from history.
Oh dear.
You're gonna have to pick so you have to pick one that you're going to stake, one that you're going to study with, and one that you want to just stack at the table. Your three names, and I'll give you a little bit of context in case they're not familiar. I assume they're familiar to you, but probably not to our audience. First one is B.F. Skinner, and this
Who's that? I don't.
B.F. Skinner is one of history's most famous psychologists. He was a staunch advocate for behaviorism, which made him a dominating force in psychology, so much so that he has been described as the most eminent psychologist of the 20th century. So that's your first name. Okay. Your second name is Leon Festinger?
Festinger, yeah.
Festinger.
Cognitive dissonance.
Developed the theories of cognitive dissonance and social comparison to explain the ways in which social conditions influence human behavior. And your third name is William James. William James is a psychologist and philosopher, often referred to as the father of American psychology. Yeah. His teaching and writings helped establish psychology as a science. Those are your three names.
Well, all of my discussions are going to bore everybody to death about stake, study, stack. Okay, so Watson. So the one that I would probably end up staking is Watson, because Watson was involved. Well, there's a number of Watsons, but Watson in particular, I believe that one had some influence in terms of advertising. So if I was going to look into who I would want to make money from, it would probably be Watson. The one that I want to study with is Festinger, because Festinger talks most specifically about cognitive biases, and that's always been something that's very interesting to me, particularly. And cognitive dissonance is one that people throw around generally wrongly, and it would be interesting to dig into the details of how. Because whenever we have a concept, particularly for something as broad or as popular as cognitive dissonance, for those of you who don't know cognitive dissonance, and this is the idea that we essentially have to move our thought processes when we have two competing thoughts at the same time. And those are in dissonance. They don't work well together. And so I stole something from a store, but I'm a good person, right? Those are two competing things. And if you've ever stolen something, you may say to yourself, well, the shop owner was a terrible person, so therefore it was okay to steal it, right? And it brings it back into consonance. And so we can make a lot of different changes. So I would absolutely study with Festinger, which leaves Skinner, who was a brilliant man on his own. And I'd probably have to stack him just for the concept of having kids in a box, like the rats that he was, the rats that he put into the box themselves. But that isn't a cut on Skinner, because he really did form a lot of the structure in terms of how we think about training a lot of different areas. So I'm sure the poker community was just thrilled with my discussion of stake, study, stack of these eminent psychologists, but that is who I would do.
I love it. Perfect.
But I am glad that you didn't do marry, have fun with, and
right. Well, then I would have just given you Freud, or Freud.
Nice. Well, thank you. Great. That's a fun suggestion, Mike, and thanks, Joe, for being a good sport there. Chris always brings some fun names to the group. All right, let's give away a prize thanks to our YouTube chatters. The reason that we do this, I just want to point out, right now in the world, it's a tough time for a lot of people to make ends meet, and you'd be surprised. Some people might just need a little help putting food on the table for themselves or their families, their loved ones, their children. And a great way to make a difference in the world right now that costs you very little but makes a huge difference to the people that need it is just support your local food bank. So if you've got a smartphone, and I'm sure most of you do, just Google food banks near me, and you'll find an organization in your neighborhood that can benefit from a few dollars from your pocket, a few hours of volunteer time in a week, or maybe it's just some non-perishable food items from your pantry. So I'd encourage you to go and make that difference and go help out a local food bank. We just want to raise some awareness about the fight against food insecurity here on the show. So we always give away a prize at the end of the show to one of the folks who has at least gone so far as to type the words food bank into the YouTube chat. So we've got a few people in here now. I see Chris, to avoid any bamboozling, the RRRCCC, Mike Day, MDWST 1811, and then we'll get Hubie in there fourth with his actual food bank in the right order.
that was a sneaky one, because
sticklers.
Okay, sticklers for the rules.
Yeah,
so we got 4. Okay.
I just want to say one other quick thing. Given the hurricane that's kind of ripped through the southern part of the states,
great point.
Particularly in Georgia, Tennessee, as well as western North Carolina, many of the places where people are going to be drawing food from are food banks, and they, in preparation for the storm, stocked up, but they are going to be low very quickly on stores. And so if you're considering and you're not certain where your local food bank is, do consider the southern states that have been affected by the hurricane.
Yeah,
great point, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah, it is a great point.
All right, I see 4 then, Chris. Let's see who our lucky winner is going to be this week.
It's a 4.
Honor system. It's a 4. That's Hubie. All right. So congratulations, Hubie. Hubie's such a fun guy. I met Hubie at a Run Good poker series. We were just playing at the same table. Seemed like a friendly person, so we struck up a conversation. He was involved in some of the 100K crew, that fantastic group that is now a big part of what we're doing here at RecPoker. And it's great to see Hubie continuing to love poker and to go have a good time. Yeah, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Exactly, Hubie. So keep on being you, man, and congratulations on your fantastic prize. So, and if other folks are kind of curious to what this whole prize thing's about, it's real simple. If you're not already a RecPoker Premium member, then every week you can win a whole month of free membership as a Premium RecPoker member, just for getting your name drawn in the raffle here. But if you are already a RecPoker Premium member, smart, good thinking, excellent decision-making skills on display so far. One of the perks is you get upgraded to getting a whole different kind of access to one of our learning partners, whether it's Solve for Why, Learn Pro Poker, Jacka Coaching, Red Chip, PokerCoaching.com. Oh, God. I got to print out a list of these and just post them in front of me. I'm definitely missing one. This is so embarrassing. We have a number, all the best training sites in the world. You can come and join. They know how important recreational poker players are. That's why they help support RecPoker and make their material available to our premium members. So, send that info, Hubie. Send that email, Hubie, to info@rec.poker and claim your wonderful prize. Oh, boy. Yeah, I think it might be time. Chris, Joe, anything you want to add here, or should we just roll on out of here? All right, well, fantastic thanks to Matt Affleck, of course, and the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino. Find out more about them at runaces.com. Thanks to Joe and Chris here in the booth. All our YouTube chatters, stick around. We're going to have another episode coming right next. And thanks to everyone at home. Oh, God, get me out of here. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.